guys, welcome back to MonAndU. So we have a collective message. And I started getting this last night as I was journaling and pulled cards. Literally woke up at 3:43 a.m. and I was like, okay, we're doing this. And got myself up and, turned a light on, and middle of the night, sat down, 3:56 a.m. and started getting into this. I was journaling since Ostara on the energy of the spring. I wanted to really tap into Ostara season, spring season, Aries season, and get deep into what's available for my life, what the potential is, what the progress is, what the motion is. And of course, as I'm sitting down to get started in this energy, I gotta let Willow out. Give me a moment, guys. And I am back. Thanks, guys. I'm really hoping that I don't have too many tech issues with all of this stuff. I am in Mercury retrograde. I know as of right now, my internet on my computer keeps going in and out, and I almost feel as though that is divine intervention, allowing me to do multiple readings in one day, as far as recording them, because it takes a bit longer to upload to the cloud so that I can pull it off and edit and all of that fun stuff. Anyway, back to what I was talking about. So last night, and this was before midnight, I was finishing up my kind of constructed-ish tarot spread in my own personal journaling. And the final placement of it was like additional blessings, things that are available. And as I started channeling messages, suddenly I had this like overwhelming warning, but not in this kind of oh shit way. It's more of a piece of awareness that is being given to us. And I sat down, I journaled a bunch of stuff. I, transcribed from my personal journal onto a couple of pages, and I'll show these pages to you guys, and I'll pop it onto the community page for those of you guys who want to see it after I get this posted. And wow, where was I? Okay. As I was putting all the cards down, I pulled the tarot out that I was working with yesterday, as including the tarot card that actually opened up the energy for these messages. And I'll go a little bit more in detail in a little bit. But as I was getting prepared, I saw the bell, and then I heard very clearly what the title of this reading was meant to be. And I originally was like unifying the pieces on a new pathway. It's about creating, choosing. It's about wisdom. It's about it was kind of scattered and all over the place. And I sat down and I heard the bell cannot be unrung. And then it was spirit's guidance and warning. So before I started, I rang the bell 3 times, clearing the energy. And I know that the light is going to be changing here. It's like just shy of 10 a.m. in North Dakota, and the sun is really starting to come through, which I'm really grateful for, because it's kind of overcast today, but it really does help with just that feeling of winter being moved beyond finally when the sun starts shining. Anyway, another thing is this is tied to the Taurus reading too. That was unavoidable, really, as soon as the Spark card came out. So we're going to start right here. This 5 of Swords card. And this is the Cosmic Garden tarot deck that you can find on Etsy through Pic du Soleil. And this is the 5 of Swords. Now, traditional Rider-Waite tarot has the 5 of Swords as a mediator kind of picking up swords. Someone's walking away really upset. Someone else is walking away seemingly having success. I want to say that's it. I haven't worked with that tarot card or that tarot deck specifically in a really long time. But it's the card of mediation, the card of like battles that we fight, and someone ends up coming out, I guess you would say victorious, but it doesn't really feel victorious. There is no sense of true victory. And this weight upon the shoulders of the mediator for the results of the attempt at mediation going the way that they went. For me, a huge, huge energy that always comes in with the Five of Swords is this energy of choosing your own battles. Now, way back in the end of February, I say way back, it was about a month ago, I was sitting down and I was doing a personal spread on Venus retrograded, which began when March began. The overall theme for the collective was the Five of Swords. This is the Venusian retrograde's primary theme and lesson. Choosing the battles that we engage in life and choosing them wisely. You know, we can choose a multitude of battles. We really can. I used to be someone who would get super fired up about something and I would run to the world and be like, I'm going to be on my soapbox and I'm going to scream about this and I'm going to do whatever. And then I realized, like, what is the benefit of that? If I have a hill that I'm going to stand on, if I have a soapbox that I'm going to get on, I'm going to make damn sure that it is not a fleeting notion, that it is not a fleeting perception, that it is not something that is here as a reaction. I'm not coming out into the world in a reactionary way. I'm here responding to something that goes against a core fundamental morality, ethos, integrity, like functionality of who I am at my core. There is something out there that's anathema to who I am, and it's been pushing at me for long enough that I feel the call to come out into the world. That is what I learned. And that's the energy that we're being asked with this Five of Swords. What is your value? What is your worth? What do you see as valuable and worthy? What do you hold as really crucial parts of this human experience and human existence, but also as who you are and who we are capable of being in the world and as a whole of humanity? And Willow's calling. I'll be right back. And I'm back again. I don't know if this is going to be a regular thing with this reading. Sometimes she does that. She just is like, this energy is making me pretty squirrely, Mom. I can't do it. And she's right down here. I know you can't see her, but she's, let's see. Huh. Never mind. If you're wondering why the camera angle is different, it's because it is. Or if it is different, I promise you it is. So I have everything kind of set up in a weird way, and I only have so many USB ports on my laptop. And if I move my camera wrong, it pulls at the USB cable that is plugged in to an expansion, and it'll automatically switch it to the front-facing camera, which will stop the video from recording. So never mind, you guys can't see Willow. My bad. I'm not going to pull her up here. She's eating her crib. She's super happy. Now, choosing battles. That's where we're at. I'm kind of, she reacts to Cancerian and Sagittarian energy often. That was all I was going to say. Anyway, we're going to get into the messages that came through from this Five of Swords. So the first two things that I heard were choose your battles wisely and choose your own adventures. Now, these are messages that I have had that have been repeating in my life and on my spiritual journey and coming through my psychic gifts for probably around 3 years. These are consistent messages, consistent lessons, consistent themes in my life, in the collective, everything. I actually have friends that have talked about that. And the funny thing is me and my friend Sarah were talking about that like ad nauseum, really. We got into it, and it was something that her husband was getting as well. And lo and behold, shortly after we had our conversation, there was actually a tarot deck that was released that I saw on Amazon, and it's the Choose Your Own Adventure Tarot. I don't have the deck myself, but I thought it was very curious because it's very clearly becoming a much more prevalent theme within the collective psychic and spiritual energy. So this coming through and being matched with choosing your battles wisely, especially with the climate in the world as it is right now. And I don't mean the weather. I definitely mean the other stuff, the chaos, the uncertainty, the just blatant insanity. If you don't like what I'm saying, okay, thanks for being here, but peace. Because guys, this is an insane time. There is insanity that is spouting from the mouths of people that should not be spouting insanity. I'm not going to say anymore. If you know, you know. Nah, I think everybody knows. So now, choose your battles wisely, choose your own adventures. From that, I got a message that had 3 pathways that we can choose with this energy. So the first one, I got this image. Oh, sorry. So battles like circled with a strike through it, you know, like a no smoking sign or no entrance or whatever, what have you. It was like absolutely not. And I heard those who are not choosing battles, wise or otherwise, are choosing adventures not of their own creation. And the adventures that are listed here had a definite feel that they are externally created. Somebody else is dictating what path you're taking, what steps you take, what you believe in, what you see, what you experience, and what transpires. It is entirely out of your control, but it may end up feeling as though it's in your control if this is the pathway that you choose. So there is an illusion created internally, while externally, they're doing what they want. And by they, I mean just they. It doesn't matter who it is that you identify as doing it. It could be the news. It could be social media. It could be your mom. Like it's somewhere. It's coming from somewhere. Just not inside of you and not from your higher self. And there's a lot of stuff to that, but we'll get into it, what I'm led to here. The second pathway was those choosing battles without wisdom are on an adventure of their making, but not choosing. This second pathway, the most important piece to be aware of is the making of, but not choosing. So say, for instance, you go out into the world and you're like, I want to, you know what? This person pissed me off, so I'm going to do something to piss them off. Awesome. Good job. You're choosing your battles, but is that a wise battle to get into? You know, revenge is a big theme right now. If you're following certain areas of life in the world in the United States, vengeance and revenge is a theme that we're hearing about and witnessing. Is that the right thing to do? Like, yeah, of course, we all think about ways that we can get back at the person who hurt us, or ways that we can teach them the lesson that we had to learn the hard way through pains inflicted upon us. in whatever way, shape, or form. It's a natural human reaction. It genuinely is. We can be like, oh, I don't do that. Oh, awesome. Anyone who can tell me that you never have thought about getting back at a person who hit you, hurt you, knocked you down, tell me your ways. Tell me how you do that with authenticity. Because the thing is I know that I have this shadow within me that will react in a Hammurabi's code way of, if you hit me, I'm going to hit you back. There's a retaliation principle in my house, so that we literally, when we instituted the retaliation principle, it pretty much put a halt to our kids getting into anything more than just miscommunication bickers. It works like a charm. But what battles are you getting into, and why are you getting into them? Have you engaged in them in a way that is because you're hurt, or you're feeling guilty because of some action that you took that hurt another, so you need to keep responding so that you don't have to feel that feeling? Was there something in your life that fell through in some way and now you feel ashamed of it? Did you have control over what fell through? These are things to ask yourself, things to ask myself. I'm right here in this collective, guys. We're in this together. These are questions, self-reflective, contemplative questions to ask if we're going to engage in battles. Because if we engage in the battles without employing wisdom, it's, in essence, karmic. It's the mess that we have made, but would you choose a mess, or would you choose something different? If you find yourself in, again, a repetitive cycle of pain or struggle or hardship, what did you do that made that repeat? And take ownership of it. Then you can move into the third path. Now, the third path is those who are choosing their battles wisely also hold the chance and the gift of choosing their adventures. Those adventures are created through intention. So chance, gift, created, and intention were all very, very hyper amplified, hyper highlighted when I was writing this. And I was working with the O-Star Oracle in my own personal readings for my O-Star spread. And that's the Seasons of Witch Oracle. And the card that I was working with was the card of composting, that talks about allowing for the past memories and past experiences to come up so that we can look at it, so that we can not throw the wisdom away anymore, but we can take all of what it was and allow it to break down in front of us, within us, allow ourselves to break down through this so that we can turn those experiences into fertilizer for the garden of something new. And it's very pretty words, but the very pretty words are true, but they don't highlight the fact that it takes work and it takes emotionality and intentionality. So none of this means that we're going completely blind. None of it means that we're moving forward and it's going to be a super simple, skip our way through life kind of journey. That's not what this is. That is simply not what is being said here. What's important is understanding how to choose your battles wisely, choose your own adventure, or pick a path because it seems like that's what you're meant to do, or that's what you're called to do, or that would be easiest. Whatever. I'm not here to tell you which one to take. I know that one of the three sounds ideal to me, but I know that one of the three means that I have to be the most consciously, actively engaged, both with moving forward with actions that support my intentions, but also with facing my shadow every single day to make sure that I am still in alignment. So it takes work. It takes dedication and work and discipline. And sometimes we don't want to fight. We don't want to keep going through these battles. We don't want to do any of it. We just want simplicity. And I get that. I do. I genuinely get that. Been there. But back to the channel message from last night, the card of composting. There is a quote in the excerpt in the book that says, "Every choice is a chance," and it's by Ted Lasso. And I had no idea who Ted Lasso was. I know I had heard it before, but I'm not in that like TV show circuit, I guess. But Ted Lasso, I Googled it and I started writing down certain pieces of it. So Ted Lasso is a sports comedy drama that is based on a created character by Jason Sudeikis. And he created the character while doing a series of promotional media for NBC's sports coverage of England's Premier League, so soccer. American football coach was hired to coach an English soccer team under duplicitous intentions of the owner of the soccer team, expecting his inexperience to lead to failure. The owner had gotten divorced. She was really bitter. She got the soccer team in the divorce and wanted to sabotage it to hurt her ex-husband. Again, vengeance, revenge. And the thing is what her intention was did not come to play because she didn't choose a wise battle. But Ted Lasso went into it, and it says folksy optimistic leadership or optimistic folksy leadership. I flip-flopped it when I was writing last night. Led to an unexpectedly successful time with the team. Again, I reiterate and apologize to those of you who are fans of it and have watched it. I have not seen it. I'm going based off of what I found online and what I was led to write down. So what I got from this is that when you really tap into your own authentic, unique, optimistic leadership inside, and we all have it. We think we don't, but we do. We all have that somewhere inside of us. What we find in life is that we're unexpectedly successful. So I got 3 dates, and those are the 3 dates of the seasonal premieres. So it's had 3 seasons. So the first season was 10 episodes, and it premiered August 14th, 2020. And then the second date for the second season and the second and third season are both 12 episodes. Second date, July 23rd, 2021, and then March 15th, 2023. And the thing that I found really interesting is on October 28th of 2020, which falls between seasons 1 and 2, the show was picked up for season 3 ahead of the premiere of season 2. So the reception of the initial, in this case, was so great that they banked on its continued success moving forward. And the first 2 seasons were highly rated, highly received, and they had multiple awards and multiple really positive critic reviews. Like their tomato meter rating was really high. I want to say in the 90s for both seasons. And then it dropped. Season 3 was as highly award nominated, but they had fewer wins, and the critiques and critical reviews or critic reviews of the season were significantly harsher. And the biggest critique of season 3 that I was brought to was about a scattered storyline of the different characters. Each of the characters seemingly were being given individual character arcs. And there was one article, and you'd have to look it up. I can't even remember if you feel called to, that said that there was this call to bring back to bring the focus of the TV show back to relationships. Whereas the earlier seasons were praised for their comfort, their warmth, and the reminder that in a chaotic world, kindness still exists within human beings. Like, we are still capable of being kind. And that show served to really help. So, I pulled out the Talisman Oracle and I asked about the first pathway and the second pathway and the third pathway, and then really what the collective lesson is. I'm going to put my notebook away so I can focus on the cards and what we're doing here. So the first pathway. So this is I'm not engaging in battles, not going to do it. I'm going to stand back and I'm just going to let it all happen. Now you're on an adventure that you didn't choose, you didn't make, but somebody else. And this is the I'm along for the ride, which is a mentality that even I have gotten into because I didn't vote in the last election. I was tremendously sick. If any of you guys are here from Chemistry with Kismet Tarot, my old channel, you guys know definitively at that point, it was, I think, maybe 10 days after that I went into a coma. So I was incredibly sick. Didn't vote. So I was just like, I'm along for the ride. There's nothing I can do. You know what? There is something that I can do. I can do this. I can be here. I can go out and I can learn and advance and progress myself so that I can be of service out in the world. I may not be, able to do a whole lot on a global scale in the way that, really big change needs to happen. But this change here that I'm doing for myself, but also for the collective, for the world, this matters. To me, it matters just as much. To our souls, to our collective souls, to our soul families, it matters just as much because we have to grow through these events. We have to grow through these experiences. So for the people that are choosing that first path, that I don't want to go on a battle, I'm going to let everybody else. The card that came out was Learn the Truth with the owl, but it was reversed. Now, this oracle deck, and in generalities, when I do readings, I don't use reversals. But last night, as I was working with these cards, it was so incredibly specific which cards came out reversed and which ones didn't, which ones were intended for a certain area and which ones weren't. So this first one is, I'm going to intentionally blind myself to anything that is true because it might trigger me, because it might spark that fire of necessary justice, of righteous anger. It might put that on me to the extent that I can't move forward in this I'm just along for the ride kind of energy anymore. I have to do something. I have to engage. You're willfully choosing ignorance on that first path. That is the firm warning that Spirit is saying. Do you want to live in illusion? Do you want to be the purveyor or the creator of your own delusions? Are you going to ignore what your heart and your soul are saying, what your spirit guides are saying? Are you going to ignore all of that? Are you going to listen to every little bit of information and say, you know what? I'm going to either I'm going to ignore it all, or I'm going to pick a side and just say that's good, but I'm not going to get involved with the side that I pick. So I'm still not battling, but I am going to say that I've decided what the truth is. And in that way, you're not learning it. You're just choosing someone else's truth. This is about integrity. This is about accountability. That is a huge energy here, is integrity and accountability. An owl has the best sight at night. An owl has, I think it's 270-degree rotation of its neck, so it can see widely. I actually watched a video where there was an owl in its nest with her babies, And a falcon swooped in and tried to take the babies. Was not successful. Was not smart of the falcon. Because the owl came back to teach the falcon a lesson. And in doing so, waited until it was nightfall. Because while an owl can see during the day, they can also see at night, and not a lot of other birds can, including falcons. So this owl went to the falcon's nest, where she was with her babies. And one by one, that owl picked those babies off and killed them, I am assuming, or fed them to her babies. Something. They're birds of prey. That's how it works. When you ignore the qualities and the traits of the things that are occurring around you, you got to ask yourself, are you the owl or are you the falcon? And are you just sitting in the darkness as the falcon, trying to protect, but not realizing that engagement, even if you can't see necessarily what you're engaging in, might be the saving grace for the people that you love or things that you love or whatever. Generalities. Please don't take this. I gotta throw this out there because I just felt it. If you are here and you're listening to this and you feel panic or anxiety or excessive fear, like, oh my God, what's going to happen? And you get that hypervigilance, please understand these warnings are not indicative of a serious negative anything. I'm not here to say your life is falling apart. I am here to help bring awareness to energies that are flowing in the best way that I know how, in the way that I am called to, and in the way that the cards help to describe. When I get imagery, I explain it. When I have a memory pop up, I correlate it. This is how my channeling works. But please know that this warning is intended for your heart, your soul, and your mind to unify. I'm getting there. Pathway 2. Disclaimer over, let's go in. Pathway 2. Now, this is the pathway where we're going to choose a battle, but we're going to fight whatever battle we want. Whatever is emotionally appealing or emotionally triggering or whatever seems like it's going to give us the best benefit, because you know what? That seems to be the right train to jump on. These are the ones where we're making our bed, we're lying in our bed. There is no cake that we're going to be eating. Like, we baked the cake and we are sitting there chomping on air as we are trying to eat that cake because that cake is now gone, kind of thing. I just keep hearing, if you know, you know. These are the two cards. We have Eternal Charisma and we have Navigation. Now, both of these cards, again, came out in reverse, but the Eternal Charisma was occluding, and that was a very important word, occluding navigation. That means it was completely blocking navigation. It's not your eternal charisma here. You have in this, and please know when I say you or we or our, anything like that, I'm generalizing into the collective. This is just a natural way that I talk. With this eternal charisma, we all have that. That's the resonance of the soul. That's the frequency, the vibration of the soul. Sweets, I do not negotiate with terrorists. I do bubbies. I do my windows. Did you want to say hi? Okay. Go play. Where's your go? Okay. Sorry. Willow needed love. Anyway, all of our souls have this resonance. We have this frequency. It's a soul song. It's the vibration that we put out at any given point in time. And it's charismatic. We may not see it as such, but it's intended that way. It's intended for us to have this eternal charisma where we are constantly attracting, just like the wildflowers attract hummingbirds and bumblebees and honeybees and all of these things. It attracts all of these beautiful creatures that help the ecosystem of the world, that really work in Mother Nature and have just important, powerful, divine meaning. That is what our soul is like. And when we follow that vibration of our soul, we follow that 100% moving forward. Now we're working with eternal charisma upright. But when it's in reverse, what it's occluding is navigation. It's occluding our ability to actually understand what path we are being called to take, what path is right for our heart and our soul, what passions we have and why we have them, and where we can go from there. Now, the third one is choosing a battle wisely, choosing our battles wisely. It gives us the chance and the gift of choice, choosing our adventures. And then we create those adventures through intentions. Intentions we set, intentions we follow through on. This, my loves, is karmic justice. And I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure those are dung beetles. And what do dung beetles do? They take, I say big, because it's big for them, balls of poo and roll it. That's what they do. They do the work of clearing the crap, for lack of a better phrasing, of clearing the crap out, of getting things together, of moving where they need to move. And they do that. That's what their role is. And so in order for them to have the life that they want, in order for us to have the life that we want, we have to understand that when we move our way through, understanding that, again, this started with composting and the Five of Swords. When we're doing the things that are right for us, we're choosing the battles that we wage wisely. I'm choosing to sit here right now, today, filming today. I am choosing to show up for myself and for you and for spirit and for the cosmos and for the guides and for all. I am choosing this. This is my battle. This is my battle. Does it look like I'm fighting? I know I'm worked up. My energy is like super pumped. I get that. That's my soul's charisma. But this is my battle because this is where I choose to show up for the collective. This is where I choose to show up for myself. This is where I choose to help initiate change, to give other people those bits and pieces of motivation that they can't seem to see within themselves or that they can't remember that they hold. This karmic justice, all of this has to do with union. And this is not union with another person. This is union within ourselves. This is wholeness within ourselves. This is bringing together the light and the dark. This is looking in the mirror and realizing that the face that you're looking at is reversed or what have you, inverted. It's like, take a picture of yourself from the front facing camera. Take a picture of yourself from the back facing camera. They're two different faces. They're two different faces. So we see ourselves in a certain way, but that's not necessarily how the world sees us. That's not necessarily how we will be remembered when we're gone, even. But external appearances will never, ever supersede the power of a unified whole self. And there is karmic justice. We're not always going to see it. Genuinely, we're not always going to see it. We're not always going to interact with it because it will seem like it doesn't exist. And I've been there before. I struggle with, lately, I've been experiencing the opposite side of karmic justice where things are being rebalanced. Like I've done a lot of work. And so now things are changing with a lot of benefit for me and my family. But I'm still every day, like in the trenches doing the work. And so when a good thing comes fluttering into my life, it gives me pause. It gives me pause because I'm not used to that. But I'm learning the truth. I'm choosing to learn the truth. I'm choosing the uprights of all of these things. And that is what this is. We can unify all of this energy and these different pathways by learning the truth, by tapping into our own eternal charisma, our soul's song, and learning the map of our soul, the path of our soul, learning what our treasure map looks like and going on that adventure. That's karmic justice. That's us saying, you know what? I deserve this too. I do deserve this. So instead of seeking vengeance, instead of seeking to move against another person, I'm going to seek to better myself. I'm going to seek to learn about compassion and grace and mercy and forgiveness and healing. I'm going to cry my way through it. I'm going to yell my way through it. I'm going to do whatever it is that I need to do. Me personally, guys, I have struggled so greatly between mental health, physical health, personal losses, life transitions, just so many different things in the past year and a half that I recently asked for and went on medication for an antidepressant. It's something that I recognized that I needed help beyond what I can do for myself. And I had to make that okay growing up, having it stigmatized and weaponized against me. I had to look at those moments and say, okay, I don't even want to give the whole, like, they're human too. They're doing the best they can. Whatever. Sure. That's true. Whatever. The point is these things getting weaponized against me and my life have created certain narratives inside of me. I need to look at these narratives and recognize where they came from, why they exist. And I'm 33, just in case somebody has resonance with that. And whether those narratives are actually serving me in healing. If I am taking a medication that is here to help me with my mental health, and I feel deeply ashamed of having to ask for that help and be on that help because the concept of needing professional help was something that was thrown at me by someone who didn't want to take accountability for infidelity, for abuse, for, like all of these awful things, whatever. They didn't want to take accountability. And so in order to deflect, it got thrown on me in that way. So the helping profession was weaponized against me at a very young age. And so I had to really transform this within myself. We don't always understand the things that we need to do to bring us into wholeness. We don't understand how we can reach this karmic justice. Sometimes we need to ask for help. Sometimes the truth is really hard to face. But when we unify within ourselves, when we face our shadows, and when we learn to ask for help and receive help, now we can really find our way. So I want to close this up because I know this has gotten long. And to be honest, it's 10:33 my time. And I really need to go to the bathroom and I need to go pick my daughter up from work. So let's find out. This is the Earthly Souls and Spirit Moon Oracle. Sorry about the glare. The sun is coming up. It's by Terry Foss. I love this oracle. It's so beautiful and it flows so beautifully with these cards. It's almost as if they were created for each other to work together. I'm astounded. But I have the guidebook out because each of the cards has a quote tied to it and an intention tied to it. So whatever cards come out here, I want to go over those two pieces. And I'm not going to go deep into the divination of these cards because those intentions and the quotes are for you to take with you moving forward. So it's action oriented. Remember, it's action oriented. If we want to manifest a really beautiful future, if we want to live Stop using the word manifest, please. I'm talking to my guides. And then I hiccup burped, okay, we're going to excise that. If we want to live the life that we dream of, if we want to actually see that in our life, we have to bring it into our life. We have to build it. We have to create it. It's going to be different for everybody. For me, 90% of it, at least, had to do with my mentality. How can I be successful if I see myself as a failure? I couldn't. I'm still navigating through it. But I also used to glom on to whether or not I was well received in the outside world. Now, if I get one view from somebody who isn't me, or, my husband, no offense, babe, if you're here watching, I get thrilled because that means I'm reaching people. And I haven't felt that way since I started doing tarot readings online back in the end of 2021, beginning of 2022. This is rejuvenating me. This is giving me back a sense of balance. This channel, your presence, it's karmic justice in a positive light kind of way. And everything is about perception. Anyway, okay. I want you guys to be able to take certain actions moving forward. So if you have certain intentions and you have things that resonate with you, or these quotes just spark something inside of you, take it, run with it. I encourage you to live your life boldly, to live your life creatively, to live your life fully, because who you are, this persona that you have, the ego that you have, the name that you have, the life that you have lived, you get it once. Our souls get a lot of chances, but we only get this chance around to be us and be our soul. So live completely without abandon, or with abandon. Is it with abandon? I think it's with abandon. Okay. All right. We've got 2 cards. Dude. Unity. Union, unity, and centeredness. Centered, but I wanted to say centeredness. But centered, so we've got moon phases, the full moon, joining together, unifying, union, unity, and compassion. I'm not going to actually pull. Oh my God. I'm oh, look, we have compassion. I haven't been able to find the other connecting pole for my camera, so I can't do the overhead because I don't have a long enough pole, or arm. Sorry, my bad. So I'm used to doing this because I'm used to having a camera right here. Oh my goodness. Okay, we've got compassion. All right. Again, I'm not going to read compassion, and with centered and unity, I'm just going to pull it up. And please, if you guys feel really drawn and called to doing something, can you share it? Would you be willing to share it with us? Because the more that we engage in this kind of energy, in this growth energy, in this choosing what is right for ourselves and our souls kind of energy, when we come to the table, when we meet spirit, when we meet the universe at the table and say, all right, let's do this. And then you go out and you do it. Sharing it with the world is such a gift. And you don't have to give us anything more than just your story. Just be like, yeah, this resonated, so I did this action. I would love that. I would love it. Okay, now we're going to start with unity because it's the first one that came out. Okay, sorry. I don't know where that came from. The keywords are diversity, equality, and connection. Oh my goodness. Again, if you know, you know. The quote, I love this. We are only as strong as we are united, as weak as we are divided. one of my favorite authors, J.K. Rowling. Okay. Now, the intention says, come together and coexist in peace and in love. We all share our great earth equally. We stand together as one. Treat your fellow humans as you would want to be treated. I'm trying. Let's see if I can get the intention. There you go. That is for anybody who wants to work with this or feels called to work with this. I love this because this is literally like, hey, remember how we were talking about chaos and vengeance and revenge? You don't have to hold hands, dance around a campfire and sing Kumbaya with people who have caused genuine harm to you, but you can see them as a whole person and say, I respect the fact that you're a human being because I have humanity within me. But we can still work together with people that we don't agree with in order to create a better world, in order to overcome all of these prejudices and negativities and division and subjugations and all of these things, separation. When we join together, we work together, we grow together. And that includes doing it on an individual basis too. So let's go to centered, and then we're going to close it up because I am up against a clock. All right. Centered, focus, connection, and equilibrium. And I love the symbol because I've seen it in a multitude of places. I want to say I've actually worked with it too, because the moon is a piece in the chart to me of something that we feel has broken away from us, something that we feel somebody took from us, that is missing from us, but we're never missing those pieces. No one has ever taken anything from us. It just had to move further from the whole so that we could see it, but it's never gone. So the quote is, stay in the center and you will be ready to move in any direction. And that is Alan Watts. All right. And we got all sorts of stuff. It says the intention is seek out the current phase of the moon, prepare and have knowledge of its power. And I'm filming this on September 20th. Whoa. I'm filming this on March 22nd, but September 22nd moon phase for whoever needed that. Which I believe marks Libra season. Yeah. So 21st to 22nd, but I'm pretty sure it's on the 22nd this year. This is what I have for you guys. We are, as far as the moon phase, we are moving towards a new moon in Aries and a partial solar eclipse that happens right up at the top of the world. I believe it goes over Greenland and part of Canada. But the energy is going to flow regardless. So this is the message that I have for you guys. This is that bell that can't be unrung. I truly hope that this is able to reach those that it's meant to, that it helps them, that it gives them confirmation, that it gives them guidance, gives them clarity, and that it helps bring people together. We really need to come together. We do as a society, just as human beings, as a collective. So if you're here, welcome. I love you guys. Thank you for being here. And all I can say is I really do hope that this reaches the people that it needs to. And even if it reaches you, September 22nd, whatever, I know that it's coming to you when it's meant to. So thank you for letting me hold space for you prior. Thank you for letting me hold space for you and letting yourself join me in this space energetically and in interactions online. I love you guys. You're awesome. go have a great day. Just go have a great day. All right. Love you guys. Bye.